Right. So PCI had an incredible journey over last almost half a century. It's close to 47 years. We started from the plain old balloon angioplasty and now reached the era of precision PCI, where imaging seems to be mandatory in some of the cases, and its imaging guided PCI is the state-of-the-art PCI. So optical coherence tomography, it helps to perform a precision PCI with probably better short and long-term outcome. I may use the term probably because of the lack of definite data. So currently, worldwide, the OCT has a workflow which is the MLD Max. So we have great experience in OCT. The benefits of OCT everybody knows, but the take-up of imaging-guided PCI much less across the world. There is some reluctance or a physician inertia. Basically, in a lab, it takes a too long time. So the lab time is a problem. So a busy lab, the operator may find it's too long, so I may avoid. I have great experience with imaging-guided PCI, with the angiography-guided PCI, so I'll go without imaging. And also, for a beginner, it is the expertise which is required for the interpretation. So there are problems, and that's why there is a reluctance or a physician inertia in going for an OCT-guided PCI. Can we make the life simple for an operator? That is what the Ultreon 2 new software, which is compatible with the MLD Max. So we can strategize with the first, that is the planning part, and then the post-PCI optimization, that is a review part. So we can have a look at the AI, the artificial intelligence guided software can tell immediately what is the morphology, what is the sizing, and post-deployment and review can tell us whether it is optimal and what else optimization technique is required in this particular case. So the morphology, length, and diameter, that is the pre-plan or the pre-procedural planning. You can see in a normal AptiView system. It's not the Ultreon one which is available right now. It is the current system of AptiView in most of the labs. You can see what is happening. We are doing this thing. We look at the morphology, look for the calcium, see the calcium, assess the depth, look at the length. We have to place the cursor, the proximal part, distal part. We look for the EL. It takes a long time. Even for an experienced operator, it may take close to 2 minutes for all these, to get all these data, the morphology, length, and the diameter. So if you go with the new Ultreon platform, the Ultreon platform can do it very quickly, close to 30 seconds. In 30 seconds of time, it can tell you what exactly you are going to do, what exactly you should do in this case, what should be the calcium modification, what should be the length of the stent, what should be the diameter of the stent, and then go to the review. So the morphology, AI-enabled calcium detection, it can immediately tell the arc of the calcium, where exactly is the most dense part of the calcium, what is the thickness of the calcium, and the length of the calcium. And at the same time, it can tell us where exactly you can see the EL in the proximal and the distal part, these white dots. You can see the white dots. These white dots are basically the it is identifying the EL, which is sometimes pretty difficult for the operator. So the EL is measured, and if you have a more than 180 degree arc of the EL, that means that is an area where which is a suitable landing zone. So it tells it the morphology, length, and diameter in less than 30 seconds time. We have two modes in Ultreon 2, the guided mode and the flexible mode. Guided mode may be for a beginner. It will take you through the entire MLD Max algorithm, the MLD in the planning part and the Max in the post-procedural part or the post-tending part for the optimization. The flexible mode, you have two. One is the planning and the review. That is for an experienced operator. So the flexible mode, it can tell us the planning, then following the planning, the review. In the review, we can see the stent, the expansion, the apposition. The color coding has changed. I'll tell you, the color coding has changed. The color coding for expansion is orange. If there is under expansion, it is orange. In the review part, and instead of the previous red, here it is the yellow for malposition. And another new thing that has added is the dynamic angio synchronization. You can see running angio as well as your co-registration. So it gives an idea about, and it can be marked even in the angio itself, expansion and apposition. So the flexible board, you can have a review at a glance, everything. You can see the, following the stent deployment, you can see the tapered expansion. The orange line can tell you how much expansion it is. That depends upon what is the threshold you have put. If the threshold is put at 90, anything below 90 will be marked in orange. So here you can see where exactly is the maximum under expansion. It is 76%. It is, and at one part it is 73%. And if there is some malposition, it can be marked as yellow. That also depends upon the threshold you are keeping. And there is a 3D bifurcation view. This was not available in the Ultreon 1, and here it is there in the Ultreon 2. You have the 3D bifurcation view. And one problem you can see, in all the first generation OCTs or the currently available software, what we are looking at is the distal part, and it comes to the proximal part. Here, what we are seeing in the proximal part is really the distal part. It is a reversal. And the 3D bifurcation simultaneously in the same frame, you can see the stent also without the wire. So expansion, apposition, easily checked. And whether it is a an optimization or the post-stenting optimization is required, that can be immediately decided. So the yellow particles, you can see the yellow markers that shows the malposition. So what are the feature comparisons between it? So this is very quickly, you can get the morphology, length, and the diameter, which is automatically measured. A 3D bifurcation is available, a fly-through is available, but you cannot make out what type of stent it is in the Ultreon 2. In the currently available software, the AptiView, you can find what is the morphology of the stent. You can tell what exactly is the make of the stent. That is not available, and the orientation is different. The orientation, the proximal on the left and the distal on the right. The current software we are using the distal on the left and the proximal on the right. So that makes a little confusion which we have to use and get acquainted into it. Automatic EL data and the lumen diameter values will give us an advantage in this thing. And also the color coding has changed for the apposition and expansion. So this is one of our case of a OCT guided PCA in a calcified lesion. Can see the pre-procedural angiography and after the rotablation and final after stenting. So this is the AptiView platform pre-PCI assessment. Can see the entire run of the OCT, the time it takes. That's where operators find Achilles heel. If you look at the proper or a meticulous OCT assessment, it takes a little longer time, close to 2 minutes or even 2.5 minutes for an experienced operator to look at the morphology, assess the calcium, look at the thickness, look at the arc, look at the length of the calcium, then decide on what should be your calcium modification strategy. Then the landing zone, you look at the EEL, look at the landing zone, what is the proximal diameter, distal diameter of the stent, and the total length of the stent. So that's where we find it a problem. And the post PCI also, but at the same time, if it is the, if it is the Ultreon, it's so quick. You can see the massive malposition in the proximal part in the left main, and the MLD max also quickly calculated. The diameter it gives, the lumen diameter it gives the EL diameter, everything. That's at a glance itself, even a beginner can make out what it is, what exactly we should do. So the final questions to me regarding this software is, are you really impressed with the Ultreon 2? Of course, I am impressed with the Ultreon 2. Will it help to do more OCT guided PCA? Of course, because it is not cumbersome, it is not that time consuming. And will this application improve the patient care? Of course, if it is a precision PCI, it must improve the patient outcome. And will it be of real help to a beginner in the OCT? Yes, that's the answer. It will be more friendly, it will be more operator friendly procedure. Thank you, sir.